everything is the same except a podcast where we take any media we want, alter one thing about it, and see what would be affected by that one little change. I'm your host, Ninja.
I'm Gage, better known as Cat Comic Studios, better known as the man who's dying of the plague.
And I am Macronami. You can find me on Twitter at NamiButt. Yeah.
And we love you, Nami.
Thank you. I love you too.
Aww.
Thank you, I need it.
You
Also,
do.
I just realized, because Gage is co-host now, that makes you the only guest for tonight.
Awesome. I deserve it.
Yeah,
I'll be co-guest.
Co-guest and co-host. I
Yes.
get it.
Co-guest
So, yeah.
host.
Are you ready?
Never.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's...
How can you be ready for all the things that life throws at you?
Okay, Gage, you just sit in the corner then, and the adults will go over today's topics. Which is kind of funny considering these are all, like, technically children's media, technically not. Anyway, so first one on the docket is Little Mermaid, except it's set in Duluth.
In Duluth?
Yes.
1 second.
Nami has to look that up because they're not from Minnesota.
Okay.
How do you spell that?
Duluth. For people that are not Nami, Duluth is a city, I suppose, in northeastern Minnesota. It's right near Lake Superior, and the reason I picked it is because it's not like Chicago, so it's not like super busy, but it has like enough to it that I feel like would be good for sort of setting up this like location of something. It's not like Nowhereville, but it's still
So
like secluded
Prince
enough.
Eric isn't a prince now anymore, right?
Right, that's the idea.
Oh, you don't know about the princes of Minnesota?
Don't even joke about that.
There is
while
one!
thinking about
There is a
mine.
Prince of Minnesota, Gage!
What?
Prince!
Oh,
Oh.
goddamn! Shut up!
Get it? The singer? Prince?
I
The
get
artist formerly known as Prince?
it. That was a good one.
Damn it! Why'd you have to end up making a better goof than me? How dare you?
Oh
Okay.
my god.
So why do you want to
What?
remake? Why do you want to remake the Little Mermaid, but as Fargo?
It does... No! Okay, first of all, Fargo is not actually set in Minnesota. Fargo is
South
Fargo,
Dakota.
North Dakota. Granted,
Oh,
a
it's North
bunch
Dakota?
of scenes were actually filmed here, specifically MSP Airport, and I believe maybe Mall of America. I'd have to double check on that. But I at least know that there were some filmed at the airport here. Specifically the scene in which they steal someone's plates and put them on their own car.
So, if the Little Mermaid is taking place fundamentally mostly in Lake Superior, I feel like why is there so much ocean life in like a bit
They
in a
would be
lake?
cheap.
Yeah, it'd be lake life, Gage.
It'd be lake life.
Like, we're changing a lot with this, honestly.
A lot. This
like-
one thing changes everything.
Yeah. It's almost like how the show is supposed to be. Normally.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
what are your headcanons for what they're being changed into now that they are lake water fish?
For life.
I mean, we don't really know what the fuck, like, the tail part of any of the
They
mermaids
look like
is supposed
trout.
to be.
Maybe.
Or, like, sturgeon.
They look like freshwater fish.
You're able to fish on Lake Superior, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
there's a lot of commercial fishing there, actually.
I feel like this could just change the story where Prince, or is he still a prince? We'll have to discuss that. But where Eric ends up capturing the Little Mermaid via fishing or some shit.
I have an
No,
idea.
no, because like the whole point of it is he fucking like has a crash ship, and then she has to take him back to shore, and that's like, I don't want to say pretty common, but it used to be pretty common, especially if we're not changing the time period and just the location. Well, wait.
Yeah, when does Little Mermaid supposedly take place?
Yeah, that's a good question now that I think of. Okay.
Look that up real quick while
Yep.
Well,
while
we
Naomi
can
tells
just
us the
make
idea
it
that you.
modern. Who says we can't also make it modern? It takes place in nebulous time zone,
I know.
timeless era.
What was the idea that you had, Naomi?
Oh, we make Prince Eric like a Prince parody. Because
I
It'd be
agree.
like what Disney's kind. Well, I was just gonna say it. At least it would give you a reason to make him black.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess. So Prince falls, uh, not Prince, ostensibly falls in love with the Little Mermaid. I like where this is going. This seems like a great fucking like improv bit.
because they're both like singers, except he doesn't know that. So like, oh, my
You made
God.
a weird tragedy now. Where Prince is like trying to help this woman who can't sing, like find her singing voice or some shit.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
The only. The only date I can seem to find is like 1840s, maybe?
Minnesota was founded. When was Minnesota founded?
158 years ago, I think? Like, I'm not totally pulling that out of my ass.
Right, right, right.
I
Okay, okay. Hold on.
literally went to a celebration for the 150th. So. Or was it 100th? Let's see. Minnesota.
It was founded in 1858.
When was
So,
Duluth created, though? Okay. Because I know Duluth was around.
Duluth was founded 1856 was the first thing I see. Oh wait, it was named then. It started getting. It was set up for trade routes back in the 1600s, though. I think mostly by like Native Americans, I
We
imagine.
can change the time. Shit, I
No,
got
but
my
I
phone.
mean, we could also just. I feel like this is also just kind of slightly becoming a little Pocahontas-y, but maybe like, a better Pocahontas than the Disney one.
an actual
Because
indigenous
it
movie?
makes the person that they're falling in love with the magical one rather than like, ooh, look at this magical Native American.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh,
I mean,
good.
technically they're both Native American because she's living in the water.
Yeah.
But you know.
What tribes live around that area? Or did live?
I think Lakota. But I mean, that might be more of Western Minnesota. So
I'm learning a lot. I'm trying to remember. I remember that the Dakota tribe had like a lot of this area, and of course the what is now the Dakotas. Wasn't there was another group that was really prominent too? Uh, which one was
Ojibwe?
it? I think it was
Chippewa?
the Ojibwe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is interesting.
So yeah, either one of those, I suppose.
So like Native American mermaid? Is this what we're going with, or are the mermaids like a different kind of culture?
I think it would be fun if it's all just indigenous.
That's fair, because I mean, obviously all tribes are not the same, so that makes sense that they could
Yeah.
still be different cultures within different tribes.
hmm So it's just kind of a fictional water tribe, and then a Minnesotan tribe. or whatever.
But I still
I
don't
feel
think
like
that
kind of weird.
this new prince character, or not even prince character, I don't think he'd actually have like a position of power. If I'm gonna be honest, I think he's probably just like a dude.
I mean,
Yeah,
he could be like a higher authority as part of his like tribe
he
or
could
group.
either be like a chieftain's son or something, or just a normal dude.
Well,
What
I
did
just
him
kind of
being a
want to do
prince?
the normal dude because I don't know that much about like the particular cultures of the area,
Yeah,
so I don't want to.
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
he
also
white?
from what I have read or what I've been told, I think a lot of them also did have like a lot of democratic elements, so
You know,
which is really cool.
That's yes.
Like not even as a joke thing, like legit. People should really read about that stuff because a lot of this
Yeah,
stuff is really interesting and it's just
and like
cool.
it's not even dead culture. It's really interesting stuff that's still like
you know.
pretty
They
prominent.
they built like huge ass pyramids and cities and shit. Like
And then you have people being like, "It was aliens," and it's like,
yeah,
shut your white mouth."
yeah.
God.
This is really nice.
I'm gonna start going to like fucking Ireland and shit and pointing to castles and being like, "Oh no, shit, fucking aliens made that shit."
Mhm.
To be fair, I'm sure there are like some of the more out there Irish people that might believe that. That just kind of believe that all humans are dumb.
Go to Scotland, point to a castle. I think the monster of the Loch Ness made that. Fuck you. This is all Nessie's fault.
I can't believe Nessie made a whole castle.
So what was the thinking that you had with this idea, Ninja? Like what are you envisioning for this story?
I just thought it'd be real cool to have like freshwater fish and everything, and the fact that it changes, the dynamic. So it's not just like, oh, I guess this is a prince.
Yeah, actually that's something I remember what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
What did him being a prince add to the original like Little Mermaid? Like I mean obviously it was just like, ooh, cool, he's powerful, but
It
in the
made
long run,
Ariel a Disney princess.
I
She
guess,
was
well,
Duh.
she was already
already
a
a
princess
princess.
because yeah, she was a princess because she was King Triton's daughter.
It
Was it?
made her a human princess too.
I
Why does
guess.
she need to be a human princess?
Because she wants to walk where the people walk.
But
You can do
the,
that as a peasant.
I imagine it was really just kind of like the oh, we got to preserve the genealogy, royalty kind of stuff.
So
She
you're
needed
saying
her to
King
have a
Triton?
big, pretty dress, okay? She
She can
needed a
have
big,
you.
pretty dress.
You can have a dress and like not be royalty though.
Oh, wait, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she collects human stuff, right?
Go
And
on.
since, like, Prince Eric is a prince, he had statues built of
Oh
him.
yeah, that whole ass
And
fucking
one
statue.
way she collected one, and she kind of idolized it as, like, ah, human. And that's where it comes from. So,
I
I
mean,
guess that's why.
we could still have that kind of thing in this story, and it's just like, yeah, the dude was a little bit of a narcissist and just kind of carved his face into logs and.
That's hilarious.
I mean, if we're keeping the this quote unquote prince as basically being a prince, the artist formerly known as Prince XP, like
No, you can't, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I think we changed that.
oh, okay.
God, okay. Anyways,
I mean, to be fair, I don't remember dick all about Prince Eric's character.
Oh
he was just like a dude.
What happened, Ninja?
no! Kirby fell in the trash!
No, not Kirby!
My son, I'm so sorry.
You're
I need
so
to be a
dumb.
better mother.
You do, I'm ashamed of you.
That's probably symbolic somehow. How dare you, Ninja?
No! Everyone,
But yeah,
please love and respect Kirby in this house.
like
Yes.
Prince Eric as compared to like most other Disney princes, I don't remember him having any like that much personality.
He's like kind of goofy. Has more personality than um Prince Charming from Cinderella until the third straight to DVD movie.
Is that the time travel one?
Yeah, he actually was actually pretty good in that movie.
Oh, I mean, fair. But I mean, to be fair, I suppose Disney movies tend to focus on the princess character more than the prince anyway, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind giving him like a little more personality anyway, just
they're
because I mean it's
all
our
just
version.
like Fred, and I think it would be fun to give him a bit more personality.
Yeah.
And I think the him being a normal dude and just like being really interested in himself is hilarious. Cause oh my god, my mind. He could sit by like the lake and look at himself
He's
in the
fucking
lake
Narcissus.
water and carve himself into the stuff and then like throw the log out into the lake to float. And that's where Ariel gets all the shit.
So you're just like throwing these out? Yep.
I need to spread my face, duh.
I like this version of The Little Mermaid so much more already.
Yes, it's pretty good.
This is great.
I'm still stuck on what Ursula would be though, because it's like you don't
Are
find
there
just
alligators in the area?
no. Jesus
Damn it.
Christ.
That was my thing.
That's more of a southern thing. What's
Yeah.
like a ninja? I mean, you're the Minnesota expert. I also live here, but I don't, I'm not, I'm definitely not the expert. What's like the most Minnesota fish you can think of?
It's the most evil Minnesota.
Walleye?
Evil.
Walleye, probably.
All
There's
right, all
gotta
right,
be
all right.
other like things though.
Well,
One second. Let me look up sea life. Not sea life. Lake life. Aquatic life. Okay.
Northern Thai.
Aquatic.
A lot of these are just whitefish. Ooh, they got
Animals and plants in Lake Superior.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the one is called. It's like a parasitic fish.
like the invasive ones? Are you talking like
No.
the Asian carp or the
No, what's...
lamprey?
Yeah.
Yeah, she could be a sea lamprey. Those are pretty awful.
No, not sea lamprey. Just lamprey.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is. Okay, it's called a sea lamprey in Lake. Okay, yeah. Let's make her a sea lamprey.
That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those from Camp Laszlo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out those are real things that are just in the fucking lake, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's pretty terrible.
I don't think
I
I'm
mean,
gonna actually put a picture of this on the podcast, just because,
Just look it up.
Trigger warning for teeth and the fact that it's a parasite. So just like,
Yeah,
if you're not cool with that stuff, maybe don't look it up.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the unfortunate like loss from this though, is that there aren't a whole lot of like very intimidating lake creatures overall. Like the lampreys are ultimately like, I mean they're, bad, but there's just so much more terrifying shit in the oceans like jellyfish and there's dolphins and
Dolphin.
well, I mean,
Listing off terrifying things.
hey, listen, do you know what kind of shit dolphins get into?
I know dolphins are fucking horrifying.
To be
Yeah.
fair,
Not on face value.
To be fair though, lamprey are fucking terrifying because like,
Yeah.
okay, let me point this out. When it comes to most like parasite things, they'll just like, leave like a little dot Because, like, you're talking, like, mosquitoes or leeches. Like, it's just a little dot. You know, nothing big. Even vampires, it's just, like, 2 little dots. Sea lamprey is just like, hey, yo, let me take an entire chunk out of you. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Take big bites.
You know, just a big old munch.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Okay, if I
that's
have the-
terrifying.
Yeah.
That is pretty terrifying.
Trying to
Like, it's
find
not
it.
really something you're gonna deal with if you actually, you know, throw yourself in there, but just like, ugh. No. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they're. I double checked. I don't think that we have to worry about the penis fish in Minnesota.
No, that's an Amazonian River thing. You're fine.
Yeah.
Or something like that. One of those.
But like we don't get like whack shit like that. By the way, for those that don't know, the penis fish, this is a fish that swims up your dick hole.
But only
Oh,
when
God.
you urinate.
Yeah.
No,
So
no.
don't pee in the water.
Yeah.
No.
It's not
Hmm.
the scientific name, but yeah, apparently that's something you could look into.
So anyway, we're not gonna make Ursula that.
Lamprey.
Yeah. She's just a whole ass lamprey.
I guess I feel like her character in and of itself is intimidating enough to make it still worthwhile. Because like as an octopus, like she's pretty like she's already got like a very powerful like image to her.
She pretty.
I mean, there's that too.
Plus,
She pretty.
lamprey fits better because she is a parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? All right,
Like,
thematically, that
leeches
does
off
work better.
people. It's
If somebody
metaphorical.
Oh, go on. I was just gonna say, if somebody opens their mouth and you see like a lamprey mouth, I think you're gonna be pretty intimidated by that. Just like, okay.
So she does a big smile in the thing, and it looks kind of scary because it's a lamprey mouth.
Yep. Like,
Okay, but then Flotsam and
Teeth are
Jetsam
all
had to be
fucked
those.
up.
Flotsam and Jetsam had to be those invasive, like, what, are they the Asian carp? Is it? What are those ones that we
Yeah.
pity for our ecosystem?
Yep.
Minnesota jokes, everyone.
Lol, I don't get it.
Stop living
Asian
in
carp
Texas.
are just like, they're big old fish that eat everything, absolutely everything. And they're to the point in some areas, particularly in, I believe it's the Chicago River? I'd have to double check on that. But, just in other Midwest areas, they're so bad that it's gotten to the point where people will literally be, like, given money for figuring out new, really, I'd say stupid ways of killing off these fish that essentially will just jump out of the river because there's so many of them. Like, some people are just taken to using, like, baseball bats to
It's pretty
fish.
dope.
Wow.
It's buck wild.
Hey, Minnesotans, zebra mussels. Motherfuckers, am I right?
Those are really small, like, clam things that will...
I've heard of them.
They will just bunch up, eat absolutely everything, and they're really small, so they're really hard to get rid of. And you can't eat them because there's no meat to them.
Can we start
Wow.
an educational Minnesota facts, like, thing with Ninja for this podcast?
Minnesota Facts Corner with Ninja.
No, please. I don't want my gym partners of podcast to sue us. I'm so sorry.
They
Please
don't have
get your-
copyright. Wait.
They might. You don't know. They might have a team of lawyers. We don't know.
Not sure if
They don't.
Not sure if they
I
can
can tell you.
copyright most of that, given that they're doing it off of a show that's owned by Cartoon Network. But you know,
I still
Unlike
think Lucy
us,
could
when
break
we
into
all-
my house and fight me.
that's fair. So
Any
you
of
know
them
what?
could.
We should probably move on before we just talk about Minnesota minutia for the next like 8 hours.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Ninja?
This one's a fun one. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, except the focus is on one of the other kids.
Ooh.
That
Like,
presents a lot of possibilities.
yeah, because each of them we only see like a snippet of their life. Like, it's not really a whole thing. It's just like, oh, this is so and so. Here are their parents. Like, we don't know how they exist in the world.
I have an important question.
Yes.
Do they still, like, die?
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to ask. Like, do they ever like specifically clarify in the movie that the children are not dead?
No.
Okay. In the first movie, no. In the remake,
Yeah.
yes. In the book, yes. However, in the book, it is basically the exact same as the ending of the Tim Burton movie. So they are like horribly disfigured.
What the fuck?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
I think it'd be funny if it was the chocolate boy.
Augustus Gloop.
Yes. I want a book about Augustus Gloop and what happens in the chocolate tube.
He dies.
No, he doesn't
He
die.
fucking drowns.
He does
I want
not
to hear about it
drown.
in excruciatingly strong detail. Because it would be the worst thing ever.
He gets taken to another part of the factory. The main problem is just the fact that, like, he gets absolutely drenched in chocolate.
That's the problem. I think it would give him, like, horrible breathing problems or something.
Hey, I just had a bad thought.
Well, okay,
Charlie
all
and
the
the
chocolate is, like, towards his ass.
Chocolate
So,
enema.
like, the worst thing that would happen is a chocolate enema.
Yeah.
Oy.
Is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory like kind of technically like a battle royale? Or like some sort of winner take all, there can only be one sort of thing when you really think about it?
Weeding
You're
out
right.
the bad ones?
I'm just saying, you could make a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory battle royale.
Ooh. Wait. What if this
Go
is
on.
a book that's an anthology series about the other kids?
Oh, so like you get to experience all their perspectives and then their horrible, gruesome deaths?
They don't
Yeah,
die.
but like a short stories, like a chapter each from their perspective. Because then we can do all of them,
Yep.
and I think that would be profitable.
Mhm.
Yes.
I can
So
definitely
you get a
see
little
that.
bit of backstory, and you get their death, and that is the anthology chapter for each kid.
And then just Charlie's arc is literally just a book, just the entire ass book.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it doesn't cover Charlie. Charlie isn't there. It'll be titled The Other Kids Day.
Could it be
The Other
instead?
Kids in the Chocolate Factory.
So in this version you're describing, Nami, are we implying that Charlie is not there and therefore there is another kid?
No.
Is this a situation? Oh, okay.
No, we're
This
just
is
not
a
covering
companion.
him. Or just everyone dies. Just fuck it, every single person.
That's what I'm interested in
Funny
here.
if everyone
That's what I'm
dies.
saying.
No
if you
one
get-
wins.
If you get 5 just terrible, shitty brat children, and like they all have to be punished, what then? Does he hold another contest?
Yeah.
He's like,
Does
well,
he
I
keep
taught
doing
them.
this?
Yeah, that's how you get different books.
What? And he just keeps torturing children. He's like a shitty candy Dracula.
Dracula doesn't torture anyone. Well,
It's I mean, it makes me think of Castlevania in that there's some regular ass people just going in there and hoping to like pretty much overturn the place and take it away from the one who owns it.
So what? We're
Why
making.
not the evil?
So what? We're making Charlie into fucking Alucard now.
God.
Charlevania.
Ah,
No.
bruh.
But still, I think that would at least be interesting. And yeah, you could still make a series out of it. Cause kids love that kind of thing where, like, I don't want to say they see other kids getting tortured, but, like,
They
I
do
mean,
like
Wayside
the pain of
Story
others.
Better than others.
Wayside
They
Story
enjoy the
was
show
pretty
more.
similar to that.
I
Like,
love
tone-wise.
hearing about bad things happening. I know that's what I like as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
that's
I
why
mean-
kids read, what are they called?
Goosebumps?
You know, the books with the baby. Those,
Baby.
what's it called? Shit.
The books with the
1 second.
wait. So it actually has a baby in it, or they're meant for like
No.
little kids,
Once.
like Aesop's fables kind of things, or the Grimm brothers, like the old versions of those.
Give me a second.
Okay, you look that up.
I'm confused.
I'm trying to find the fucking name of it.
Because, like,
That's
Coraline
fine.
doesn't have a baby.
I don't know of any books that involve. I'm assuming that Nami did not mean any books where babies get actively like harmed because
Oh, you mean a series of unfortunate events?
Yes! Thank God! A series of unfortunate events. Is that
I was
what
like,
it's
okay,
called?
what books have a baby in them? And then,
Because it's got a baby and it's got strong teeth.
Yep.
And that's all I remember, other than it being, like, horrible.
yeah.
Kids love that shit. They love reading about gruesome shit all the time. They love.
that's that's what I'm saying though. Like I feel like that's what this series kind of becomes if Willy Wonka just continuously gets batches and batches of horrible kids coming in.
I mean,
Like
Roald
eventually,
Dahl's definitely done books like that before. Like, I think it was called Witches, in which a kid is at a hotel with his grandmother and finds out there's a convention of witches, and they end up turning him into a mouse. And it ends with him still a mouse, but accepting his fate because,
oh
well, at least I get to die with my grandmother.
my god.
I could argue that, God, I'm so bad at names of things. Matilda is child going through very bad things for children.
Yep.
Because, oh my god, that fucking story, dude.
Like
Even BFG was kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah.
for
Big fucking
real,
giant.
like an entire orphanage just gets eaten up.
It's a lot. Kids love things that are bad happening to kids. I think it makes them feel more adult or more, you know, like in control of what's happening, even though bad things are happening
Yeah.
to them, but they don't have any control over them. But like they get out or like they figure out a way to do whatever, and kids find that empowering, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, why did I find warriors empowering? Oh, I just like cats.
because we're furries.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
There's a lot of gruesome violence, but I just like
There is.
cats.
I mean, like I'm sorry, Ninja. I can't see this. I can't see this being like as much a delightful series. Like I feel like it
Well-
just kind of gets darker as time goes on. Like I don't feel like fine. If I will accept that he is not murdering the kids. I'll accept that. Fine.
Just torturing to teach a lesson.
Which is yeah, sure. That makes it okay.
It doesn't make it okay, and that's the point. The point is like an anthology series of all these kids getting fucked up by this guy's stupid attempt to teach morals.
But that's my question though. Is where is this series going to be going? Because I see it going one of two ways. Because it either is going to become like Willy Wonka is like he has gone mad with power and like he needs to be stopped and like brought low for all of the lessons he's trying to teach, or that nobody learns the lessons that he's trying to teach through this child torture he does. And he is still eventually bested, but will they learn from it? Like, you see what I'm getting
I
at here?
think it works better if Willy Wonka is now just a big villain. A big, horrible villain,
Yeah,
misguided and bad, and
I feel
hurts
like this
children.
this could also just be a story where there aren't really any heroes.
Yeah, everyone's bad, but this guy, very bad.
So we end up with like a traveling salesman situation.
But is
Or
he? I
laughing
don't think he
salesman.
leaves though, because the factory, unless the factory moves, and let me tell you, if the factory is like some giant Wild Wild West mecha thing, I'm into that.
What if
Can
it
we just do
magically
that?
transports to different places? So the
That
whole
also
thing
Oh
works.
is
my
not like,
god.
oh boy, I
It's
gotta get
fucking
these.
Dracula's castle. You laughed earlier, but it's Dracula's castle.
So okay, fine, we'll do it that way. Like it just kind of keeps appearing in places. So like you just, you'll have these kids at the start that are like delinquents trying to do something naughty, and they open a door somewhere, and they're suddenly transported to this magical candy land, and they're like, oh shit. And the dude's like, all right, you survive a tour, you get to have my entire place. And they're like, shit, free real estate. All right, okay, cool. And things just happen. So you don't have that much like adult influence with it. It's more just the kids doing this shit on their own.
That's
But I
fair.
feel like that would still feed into a very good series because you'd have kids like, there's no way I'd be that dumb. I'd just kick the guy in the nards and take the tour my own way. Fuck it.
And you know what? I think I know how the series ends.
Mm-hmm.
I think Charlie does get into the story eventually.
Yep.
Because I think what happens is like at the risk of like jumping a little head a bit, touching on the Undertale that we're gonna get to.
Yep.
So y'all know Toriel, right?
Yep.
What if Charlie,
Yeah.
right? Like I think his character's gonna be a little different here because I think he's actually gonna have to be like a little more clever.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a series that's all pretty much all villains by the sound of it.
Yep.
So I feel that when Charlie gets in there, it's a situation where it's like the fight with so you can do the fight with Toriel, and eventually she can offer to let you spare her,
Yep.
but you have the chance to take a free hit
Yep.
and betray her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I feel like that's basically what Charlie does.
Oh
And
no.
mayhap he becomes the new sort of Willy Wonka figure.
I sure taught him a lesson. Makes the same mistake.
Yep.
Cycle begins again,
The
baby.
cycle begins anew in Charlie's chocolate factory. It's hard to make it sound menacing.
I don't know. You
Why
made
are we
it sound
making
pretty menacing.
Why are we making so many great things?
That's what happens when you shove like a bunch of writer, artist people in a room with a bunch of on paper sounds like very stupid ideas, and then just let them go wild. Because if they sounded really good on paper, that'd be bad.
Too easy then. Yeah, you're right.
Well, Animal Crossing but in space does sound pretty fun on paper. But yeah,
Still a good idea.
still
But
good.
anyway, I already slightly hinted at it. Next is Undertale Ninja, but tell us about this Undertale situation.
Yeah. To clarify for everyone, I always go over like with the people who will be in the show, the topics. I don't tell them what'll change, but I do tell them like, oh, we're gonna do this series, that series, and the other one. Mostly so I can make sure that the guests at least have some idea of what they're getting into. So
Hasn't
yeah.
stopped me.
So yeah, the last one is Undertale, and Um, Here's the little twist on it. But you play as a monster in the human world.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
that sounds delightful. Uh,
Do you kill people? Do they
I mean, I
bleed?
think you'll have the option.
Do they bleed?
Well, that's the thing, because the
They gotta
monsters.
bleed,
Well,
right?
that's the thing is that the monsters canonically have a much like lower power level than the humans, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I feel like pretty much you'd basically be starting at level 1 with everything else being level 10 if you're getting into fights. It'd be the very opposite power dynamic. It'd be more of a horror story actually, because it'd be more like surviving if you're trying to start fights.
Yep.
What?
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend one on what you're fighting, and two, like, it could be more of a. I'm trying to think of a series. Yeah, it'd be more like Cuphead in the sense of everything is a boss battle.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So like
I,
any fight is gonna be, you know, higher stakes for you.
Oh, there's still you still got the like determination factor to it. Okay, I like that.
But obviously, it's gonna be a lot easier to do like, you know, friendly run
Right.
for the most part. Humans can still be assholes, so there is
I
this
yeah.
sense of like, oh shit, they might want to fight me more than I want to fight them. But I mean, that was also an issue in the original game.
right. The way I'm seeing this go is that yeah, it's kind of like a slightly similar narrative where it's like you're a monster, you're like some sort of monster kid and you're trying to get to I don't know, would you be trying to get home, do you think? How do you can't really fall out of the mountain. Maybe
What
you're
if
like
there is
go on.
like a new story and it's like a tale where it's like there's a monster settlement outside of the underground
Mm-hmm.
and you were able to get out of the underground and you want to get there.
And like they finally ended up making contact somehow.
Yeah. And they're like, they want to get there so they can get those monsters to help the other.
Oh.
So it's like you're still trying to bring all the monsters to the um, surface, but you're trying to do that by getting to a group of other monsters and then
Oh.
convincing them that it's a good idea.
I like this. But
And
like
you're not
obviously
even sure it exists because it's just a story.
Oh yeah. I
So there's
like
kind of
it.
this doubt looming over.
I mean that seems believable enough to me because like that's always something I have a little issue believing in a lot of stories where it's like the complete and utter extinction of X and it's like I don't find it hard to believe that almost all of them were killed like with maybe like the air nomads for example in Avatar but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it I definitely feel like at least a tiny handful I feel like just statistically a tiny handful must have made it out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that would and it just feels like it'd be the same thing with the monsters in this case.
So you're just chasing a myth,
Yes.
essentially.
You're chasing a myth, but you're filled with hope.
Yeah.
And
So it's
maybe
not.
instead of determination, like they say, hope, because
Yeah.
Oh,
you're hoping that this thing exists.
Yeah.
You're not determined to get out. You're hopeful
Yeah.
that something exists.
the hope for a better future. The
Yeah.
hope to be reunited.
And that's what makes like a attack. Um, I don't want to say genocide run. I feel like there has to be a better
Violent
term.
run.
Yeah, like doing a violent run in this one just seems like a dick move, and also you're not understanding the point of the story.
Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you're still keeping the mythology that the monsters were allegedly like locked away or like forced to go into hiding because of the humans,
Hmm.
then there's still the motivation there to like try and destroy them.
Oh yeah, true.
But it could very easily be like, no, you're part of a new generation and you're like, no, you want to make sure that it doesn't ever happen again if you're doing the pacifist run.
Hmm. Yep. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just there's some humans where you're like, mm, hmm. Is the world gonna care if you die? Hmm. Hmm.
Damn.
So this is my next question then.
Yeah.
Is the monster, do you have any ideas for what the monster you'd be playing as is like? Or is it a character that's already been established, or is it like a different kind of
It looks a
being?
little like Azrael, but not really.
Because
That's
yeah,
what I.
the immediate thought I have is it like is it Asriel? Is it like Monster Kid, or
I don't think it'd be Monster Kid,
he has no
but
hands?
like maybe like
Monster Kid is an unlock. If you finish the first story, you can play as
that's
him,
good. That's good.
and you get an entirely different storyline because you don't have hands.
Yes, yeah,
Not to say that people who don't have those limbs aren't like
of
worthwhile.
course.
Yeah.
Just saying from the story standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're could be a cute little like Asriel like character, or just perhaps straight up Asriel, and I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. A lot of stories are very much. I mean, they're obviously written from a human perspective, but it would be interesting to play a story ostensibly from a non-human perspective, looking at humanity.
Mhm.
That's much less. It's a much less common way of like making stories, I think.
Yeah. And you get a lot more of that like outsider perspective in the sense of like okay, so a lot of monster stories are often used as a way to dehumanize people. Like
Mm.
it's sometimes used as a parallel for people's fears of minorities. That's why you see a lot of like monster movies around like 1940s, 1950s that have this
Yeah.
concept of like, oh, this monster is taking a white woman who is powerless and helpless. All the white men have to go and kill him. Like, I'm really sorry to point that out, but it is true. So then you have
Yeah,
people of minorities who tend to associate with monsters more. That's why you get a lot of, like, monster stories in the LGBT community, because it's like, oh, you know, they're seen as an outsider, I relate to that. So I think
Mhm.
you'd get a lot more of that sort of sense of that. Like, you would have a fuck ton of people be like, oh yeah, this is actually a really good story. I like the sort of sense of, you know, monster-ish, not meant to be here kind of thing. But then, you know, they get to show the world like, no, I can exist. I am okay. You're the ones that are wrong for, you know, dehumanizing me, seeing me as an other.
yeah. The nice thing is that Undertale, it's clearly written into the case where it's like the monsters are not, uh, at least as far as I can tell, they are not developed in such a way as to be reflective of specific minority groups.
Yeah. Except the two that are gay. Like
Yeah,
straight up lesbians, and then
but
everyone
that's
forgets it and wants to ship Sans with his brother because I fucking
what
hate fandoms.
Hello?
gross.
No.
Pie with the glowing blue dick. I don't get it, internet.
Why do you
Because
ship
like
Sans with himself,
that
internet? Stop
you
that.
can
Get some help. This is Onceler all over again.
The Homestuck fans needed a place to vent their loss of Homestuckness. They needed to put it on a skeleton. That's all they
This is what happens when you leave Homestuck and Onceler fans with nothing to do. They put blue skeletons on a dick. Or wait, no.
No, that's my version of Undertale.
I hate you. You know what I meant.
Maybe I do. So did you have other like big ideas regarding this Undertale, but as the monster run?
I just think it'd be really great. I like the idea that you get to a monster settlement that you weren't even sure was real.
Yeah.
And maybe humans are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, nobody would know what you're talking about. You would just seem like, a monster just sort of spinning tails talking about things that only children believe in.
Oh!
Wait, that'd be a good angle for it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, children are filled with hope.
Yeah. You're just seen as like a hopeful child who doesn't know what they're talking about.
No.
They think you're a furry? I think that'd be fun.
Yeah,
No.
and there's also the fact that it's like, oh, but you might end up leading these humans to the settlement where these monsters were living in peace, and like
Yeah.
you end up
So
creating
like you're not
conflict
sure
that
if
you
you
have
can
to
tell
resolve.
anybody.
So that's why you don't want to be violent, because then the people that are following you are, already mad at you, so they're going to take it out on other people.
Yeah.
So instead you have to spread kindness. Or at least,
Make a good name for the monster.
Yeah.
And then you get there, and none of the monsters want to help. And then
That'd be
it's kind of
impossible.
just convincing people, like, wait.
The only loss I think there would be is like with Undertale, there's this underlying like magical, slightly high technology in some spots, like aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the human world wouldn't have as much. I feel like the human world would have, I guess, more like realistic platforming or like adventures and stuff. It'd be a lot more simple, I think.
No. Hear me out, though. Hear me
Hmm.
out. You could still have, like, fantasy elements, and that's remnants that the monsters have left behind. That's what fills you with even more hope, is just seeing, like,
Oh
aspects
shit.
of your culture sprinkled in once in a while. Like, the humans might not even know who actually left it there and just be like, I don't know, aliens? And you're like, no, this is monster stuff. This is
No, that's the
my
sequel.
stuff.
Oh my god. That's really good though.
Yeah.
You know what? I think like I need to start coming up with more like terrible goof ideas, because like we're bringing a lot of ideas to the table that are just really actually workable, and I feel like we need. I feel like I want to challenge myself more. I want to make some really
Challenge yourself to
stupid
make it
things work.
horrible, or challenge yourself to make it good?
Challenge myself to make. Well, I mean, it could go either way, as
I mean,
long as it's funny.
Gage, you say that though,
Go
but
on.
the last one that we did that you suggested was Fairly Odd Parents, except Chester had the fairies instead of Timmy. And
Hmm.
if you remember, I went off.
You had some words about that.
I just went straight
I
off
would
on.
go off too. Jesus Christ, he should have.
Oh, Nami, I don't think that episode's out yet, but please
Yeah, it's
check that
out
out because
I
tomorrow.
got
Ninja had some
Oh my
feelings.
god. That has always pissed me off too. He's so much more deserving of it.
I know.
But I mean, like, I guess the point is that he can be happy in his poverty
That's
like,
not a good
still kinda
message.
fucked up,
not a good
though.
message.
Yeah.
Like, his
Like,
life
Timmy
could have
doesn't even think to be like, hey, could I just, I don't know, increase the minimum wage?
Yeah, I wish that
Like, there's
Timmy
probably
would
the
wish
rules that go against it, but it's like, fuck it, just raise minimum wage.
There would
Cosmo,
be something into rules about that, wouldn't there?
Cosmo, I wish that every person who is in a bad working condition had a union. Okay, Timmy.
Sorry, Timmy, but the rules are very Ayn Randy, if you know what I mean.
Fuck that. We should do communism.
Fuck
Can't
that,
wait for Fairly
Cosmo!
Odd Parents,
Bring
but
Jorg in here,
communism.
I can fist fight him myself. Wait, what's that gonna do? Well, I mean, he's already a totalitarian leader, essentially, of your society. I may as well just fisticuff him. He's a fairy, you can't do that. Where in the rules does it say I can't fist fight a fairy? Uh...
Uh,
Yeah.
probably
That's what I
in
thought,
somewhere.
Cosmo! Bring him here!
Oh my god.
I'll kill a
Like-
man myself!
Oh my god, are all fairies bootlickers? Oh my god.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure we discussed the fact that it's like, what the fuck are most of the fairies doing? Like,
Being bootlickers.
they could do so little and improve so much, but they just don't.
Okay, we should probably get back on Undertale. At least for the next couple minutes.
I mean, I feel like we got a pretty solid thing out of it. It was a good idea, and we made it good. Like, it's just
Yeah.
what we do, apparently.
These are all pretty solid ideas.
Alright, what's the worst ending?
I mean, I mean, I feel like if you murder all the humans, that's ostensibly a bad ending.
You murder all the humans, and then Flowey shows up. This is the first time ever. And Flowey's like, what the fuck?
Wait, I have it? And this could possibly involve Flowey, like, if Flowey's some sort of manipulator, like Loki-esque figure, that he tries to trick you into, like, killing off the other monsters somehow.
Ooh. Yeah, like you
Yeah,
get there, and it's
wait. I got it. Okay, so on the way there, you end up finding someone that you think is a monster, but then, like, you know, right after meeting him, they're just like, haha, I'm trolling you, and, you know, they take off their furry head.
Yes.
So you're like, oh, sometimes humans just kind of masquerade as monsters. So when you're in, like, this, you know, I'm gonna kill everyone state, you approach what you think is, like, just another human town, and you're just like, I'm gonna just fuck them all up. And then, like, as your mind clears, you realize, wait, those weren't humans.
Oh.
Oh
You know
my
how-
god. Like,
I
if the game starts noticing you're killing people, it puts a furry in there. And it's like,
I feel like if we want to do the story, if you want to play as a monster, but you don't want you don't want the humans to realize you're a monster, like, what if the story takes place on Halloween?
That's pretty good.
Oh, fuck yeah! I love this. Ooh.
This feels like a real video game. This must already exist. This feels like that story must be there somewhere.
This is good shit. Good shit. Yes. Give to me. I love it. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm legit gonna have to challenge myself to bring some really stupid shit to the table because, like, I'm just so good at this.
It's
I feel
okay,
like
Gabe.
I feel like a fucking king just sitting at my table, like, yes. What if it was on Halloween though? Fan myself, eat my bacon strips. I've done my work for the day.
Jesus Christ. It's okay, Gage. I'll just bring, like, I don't know, No. If I was gonna say like Other M or Detroit Become Human, like those are easy enough to just make better because they're already shit.
Right, but it's still a lot of work, which I appreciate. Because like when we're starting off of something that's already pretty good and then just making another good version of it,
Mm-hmm.
that's an interesting challenge in and of itself, and I love it. And we are making like legitimately good stories.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna try and think of some really stupid shit, and we'll see. We'll put the fucking pedals to the metal and see if we can unstupidificate some really stupid shit.
Also, hey, if you're listening, remember you can always comment in the YouTube comment section on some ideas if you think we
Please do.
could. Yeah, if you want to try and stump us, go ahead. Actually, please
Yes.
try.
And I mean, also
It's
feel free to add on your own thoughts to any of our ideas.
You know, like comment sections there
I
for a
would love
reason.
to
And
read comments or used comments. Please comment.
Yep, please.
we'd love it. Or even
Please.
just like shoot me something on Twitter, at
Yeah,
Pink
we all
Cat
put our
Ninja.
Twitters. So
Yeah, I'm down. I would love to try some like listener ideas. That would be dope.
yeah.
So yeah. And I think with that, we can wrap it up for the night.
Um.
So yeah.
Me.
Yes, you first.
So okay, this has been Mac or Nami, and you can find me at Nami Butch on Tumblr. Not
No,
Tumblr,
not Tumblr.
Twitter. If you want my Tumblr, too bad. I
They
changed the
recently
URL.
changed it. It's really dumb, but also really
It's
good.
great.
Just
I'm
figure it out from there.
Gage. You can find me on Twitter. I'm currently a professional persona rater. Go ahead and send me your personas. I will
No,
rate them.
at Cat Comic Studios.
Yeah, but it's spelled weird. So if you look up professional persona rater for the moment, you'll find me. But also, yeah, Cat Comic Studios. Good luck spelling it, asshole. Because Twitter didn't want me to put it in the way I wanted it. And now it's dumb.
And I am. What is my name again?
What's my name again? What's my name again?
No, like, I've just had a day. Okay. I am Ninja. Yes, that's what I've been going by for over a decade.
Several
Jesus.
years.
Yes, almost a decade at this point. And this has been Everything is the Same Except. Tune in next week when we go over uh, the mating habits of cars from the Cars universe.
Finally.
Bye!